All right, welcome to Tiny Toys Tuesdays, episode 31. Tonight it's a shorter show tonight because nothing new is released, nothing crazy. We did get some FEC models, which look amazing.
Oh, I can't wait to look at their rolls. Oh,
I know. I hope their book's
they
good.
l- they look beautiful. Shuron is a big, beefy boy. He's so big.
Did you like those winged knight things?
Oh yeah, absolutely beautiful.
They're so cool looking. I hope their book's good, man, and I hope ghouls are viable in the new book.
I agree. At this point, I don't care if they're good or not. I'm still going to get like probably two of their starting boxes.
Yeah. So other than that, that was the only thing that was new that came out. But I'm kind of waiting for their book. Um, so tonight we're doing a short show on new player factions. We're gonna actually go and tier them and see which ones are the best for new players. Um, Cameron, what have you been up to?
I went to a tournament this weekend for the House of Hobbies tournament. It was amazing. I got to
It's
have
a good
fun.
time.
Got to play Cities of Sigmar. I got to see how 50 Fusiliers work on the field. Everybody had fun fighting against that, especially you, Joel.
Ugh, so
Uh,
me and Cameron matched up round three, and I already played him, so I already knew what to expect. I made some mistakes, but I played well. I just my army does not go well into his, so it is what it is.
and besides that, I've just been hanging around with my friend from Australia.
Nice,
This is
nice.
his last week being here in the States.
Well, that's cool. Cool to Australia. I've always wanted to go to Australia. Um, as far as the tournament this last weekend, it went well. The top three was Cameron, um, Dave played. He got second playing Nurgle.
Oh, so many wounds.
Yeah. Yep. And he played well. And then Doug with OBR got third. So congrats to them. It was a fun tournament. And as you can see, we are doing another one on the 16th of December. It'll be Christmas themed. I think we're having an ugly Christmas sweater.
Yeah, an ugly sweater
Yeah,
competition.
that's what it is. So pretty. I already ordered mine. Mine's absolutely ridiculous. So it'll be fun times.
I'm tempted to see what I'll do. I just don't want to sweat off my body
I know,
with
I know. It
all my
is.
ideas.
Hopefully, it gets a little colder because here in Arizona, you can't.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be still. I'm still gonna be sweating
Right,
when the time comes.
right. All right. So that's kind of what we've been up to. Let's go into the art of the week. Magnus, I'm not gonna I can't pronounce that last name. Magtig. I can't. It's probably pronounced differently. Um, but this dude is pretty good. He makes everything pop really well. Um, Even that Stormcast model in the front and
I
the
think
top.
I think my favorite's the Zinch, just because of the glow from
I
the
know it
disc.
looks so good. Like just and even just like the little horns on the Zinch model, right? Like everything just pops where it needs to. It's very very good.
I love a good glow effect.
Yeah,
Just be able to make it look like some light naturally hitting
yeah.
the model.
The Bloodthirster and his axe, where the light hits at the top. Mm.
Oh yeah.
Chef's kiss. It's very very good. So definitely go check out this guy on his Instagram. Very good, very good stuff. He's got tons of stuff on there. I can't remember where he's from, but definitely not in the U.S. He's definitely overseas, but good stuff. Good stuff. All right, we'll move on into what makes a new player-friendly faction. So if we're gonna tier these, we've got to have some sort of a baseline.
Yeah. How do you determine if something's good?
Yeah. So here's a couple things. If I missed anything, Cameron, I'll add it here. But I think I got most of it. So first, the amount of internal war scrolls. So I know it's probably going to be there, and this might, there might be some different views on this from what I believe to what you believe or to what someone else believes. But I think having too many war scrolls in a book can be bad. Um,
I don't know. I don't know if it makes it bad per se. It depends on what you're feeling for. Like what
do you think it would overwhelm a new player though? Like take like cities or Stormcast, right? Because Stormcast is kind of like
they have 1.5 billion war
yeah,
scrolls.
yeah, and they're the most popular faction, one of the most popular factions. If a new player starts with Stormcast, do you think they would get overwhelmed with the amount of war scrolls? I just think if
Well,
I was a new player, I probably would.
as a new player, what you're looking at is like, oh, there's this faction, and look at that, they have 1 billion things that they can go ahead and use. And you're probably, as a new player, you're probably not being too competitive with it, and so you're still probably
Maybe,
exploring. So you're looking at things as like, oh, this looks cool, so I'm going to try that. They have so many things that I can try out.
maybe that is a good um, thought as far as like a new player getting into the hobby. They've got a lot of options that they have. I mean, sure, I'll give you that.
Uh, Now, I also agree that I think having a crap ton of war scrolls is, I think, is I would say good for an army just to have variety. But the problem comes is when you
None of them
have,
do anything
yeah, when you have so many things
that are
that do
bad.
the same thing
Yeah,
or don't do anything at all.
yeah,
That's when it comes down to.
fair point. The next thing I have is the amount of rules slash mechanics dealing with allegiance abilities.
Oh God, yeah.
So like, Cities of Sigmar is not new player friendly.
Oh, not at all.
They've just got too
OB
many rules. Yeah, OBR.
OBR.
Yep, OBR is
Mm-mm.
another one. Not good. There's too many rules, too many things that they have that you have to keep track of. Um,
Uh,
Not
When
good.
I'm playing Cities of Sigmar, and this is the first time I've had to bring an extra sheet of tokens just so I can play my army.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The next one, obviously, a new player most likely will get into the painting hobby as hobby aspect of it as well. So I said the ease of painting. So
Mm.
I said something like I don't think the new Cities of Sigmar is also good. I think they're way too detailed, and that's a nightmare to paint.
Oh, I've seen those details. They are so many details.
Right. And I
I think
just
they're fun to paint for those who like painting. But if you're not in this hobby for painting, they are a nightmare.
yeah. So I think that you have to take some sort of consideration into how easy is it to paint. Great. Next is budget. Obviously, this kind of goes with the amount of internal war scrolls. Like,
Oh yeah.
how much are you spending in order to get a 2K army on the board, right? So, or a 1,000 point army, right? Like, just how much are you spending to do that? So I think budget is definitely important.
Yeah, that can be a hard thing, especially like it goes down to the amount of war scrolls. You decide to do something, and then like especially if you go into competitive,
Yep.
which again, that's not new player.
Yep.
You're like, all right, now I need to try something else.
Yep. Yep. The amount of models on the board, I think, is another one.
What, you don't think it's new player friendly to have 200 zombies on the board?
Yeah, I think it's too much. I think, especially for new players, you want to give them a very um, watered down version of the game, and I think having 240 zombies or
You don't want their gaming
uh,
experience to be 50% moving models.
right, it's just too long for them, and I think that'll kick players out of the game if the games just drag on too long. And I think having too many miles on the board um, does not work.
Agreed.
Um, so this next one, does it stray away from the core rules? And there's two in particular factions I'm thinking about.
OBR and cities.
Cities. I was gonna say Suns because there's a lot of stuff that they're a little bit different from the core rules. Like, um, like uh, the roles they operate in. Um, they don't have a whole lot of like they don't have a magic phase. They don't have Like you can obviously make that happen, but I
I,
think
I don't think that's against new players. I don't think they're getting the full experience, but
okay, fair
that
enough.
that just makes it easy. Hey, a new player doesn't have to learn all the rules right away.
Yeah,
Magic? What's that?
but I think to a certain extent, a new player does need to know at least every phase of it, right?
Yeah,
Because
you
otherwise,
got
otherwise
you
if they
got
go,
broad for a prayer.
they okay, all right, okay. I mean, they could. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, maybe Suns isn't too bad as far as straying away from the rules, but um, would be another one. Maybe Lumineth,
Zinch Primal Dice
Zinch
or
Primal Dice. Yeah,
Zinch Fate Dice. There we go.
yeah, Zinch. Yeah,
Um, Cities of Sigmar Orders is like one of the craziest ones.
that one and definitely OBR for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Especially last rendition. Now it's at least a little better, but I
Maybe Corn with their blood tie tokens.
yeah, sure, because they let you break the rules quite a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. And then I said competitiveness, and the only reason I say this, like, you don't think of new player and competitiveness as like the same, one and the same, but at the same time, you definitely don't want to to pick up an army and then get into it and then realize that the army is not good.
Oh yeah, you
So
don't
you need
want someone to get an army and then realize, man, everything I do sucks. Is
yeah,
this game for me?
right. You don't want so you need to have some sort of it doesn't need to be the most competitive, most brutal lists. It doesn't have to be, the most brutal faction. But in order for them to get by and especially from a new player's perspective, you need to have some sort of a competitive faction in order to keep them going.
They need to be competent.
Yes, yeah.
They need to be they need to be competent without you having to like master the rules that are around them.
Yeah, correct. So, did I miss anything?
I think you got pretty much everything that I would look for.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do, we're gonna swap over to the tier list. Let me do that real quick. And I'll hold on. Where is it?
Now, here's a question for you: are you counting armies of renown?
No, I am not counting armies of renown. In fact, I would say that is not. Eh,
Because I would say there are some armies of renown that are easier to get into and use than some of their base armies.
fair. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I did not put the armies of renown in here. That is a good point, and that's relatively new, right? So,
Yeah.
um, that is a good point. That is a very good point.
Like, and when we get to like some of the armies of renown, I'll go ahead and give my points of how I think they differ.
Okay. All right. Cameron, can you see?
Nope.
Okay, hold on. Let me adjust. How about now?
Yes, I do see it.
Okay. All right. So let me get over to that screen.
So what is this? S A B C F?
Yeah, we can change this. It doesn't have to be this, but S being best player player friendly, F being not new player friendly.
I consider, let's see, and S being I would recommend it as probably like one of the best easy.
Yes.
Uh,
Follows
first
all of
time
our
armies.
rules, all of our baselines. Yep, I'd agree.
A's I would recommend. B's to be like, all right, if you want to challenge. C's is I wouldn't recommend, and D's is I would try to have them stray away from it.
Yeah, F is not new player friendly at all. So I'm just gonna pick them at random, and we'll just go from there.
All right.
So let's start with Gloomspite Gets. I immediately think, I mean, they don't follow a lot of our rules. There's a lot of internal war scrolls, a lot of sub factions.
They have a lot of things going on with them.
A lot of rules. It's very castle-y, very techy.
That's the yeah. You know what? That's the problem. It's very very techy.
Yeah.
Like this weekend, I was talking with some Gloomspite Gets players about what they can do, and like I know that he's been playing it for quite a while, and like me who I've never played Gloomspite Gits. Like I knew some things from playing with other competitive people. It's like, hey, do this, do that. It's like I don't even know where to get that. And
So
it's like it's all in the book.
I would say probably a C.
Yeah, B to C. There's just so many things to do,
Yeah.
so many
I
models.
don't think it's the worst, but I definitely think you're gonna struggle as a new player trying to pick that up.
Like D for any sort of normal army. I'd say B if you're going just Trogs. There we go. Like
Yeah,
Trogs Warherd. I'd put that in maybe an A to a B
sure, sure.
because it's so simple down.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You're talking about the Army of Renown.
Yeah, the Army of
Yeah,
Renown for Gits, where you're playing Trog,
yeah,
I'd give it an A to a B. Simple to play,
I'd agree.
simple rules.
I'd agree with that.
Base Gits D.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree.
Really good army, not good for new players.
Let's do IDK.
Hmm.
They don't have a ton of War Scrolls. Um, they're kind of a pain to paint.
But they are a pain to paint, but they are fun to paint. You know, you get a
Yeah, I would.
you get
I
a
would agree with that.
you get
I
a
would agree with
turtle.
that, yeah, like painting an octopus, stuff like that, sharks and stuff. It is pretty cool to paint.
I would say A or B
I would
because
s-
they have a lot of rules with them, but all their rules are just very helpful rules and like very straightforward. Whereas like no, turn one this happens.
I'm gonna put them at B, and the only reason to say that the tides can be kind of confusing.
Yes, turn two this happens.
Yeah, so I would say a B.
Like it has a lot of things helping you, but then again, there's a lot of things to be able to get like a true
Yeah.
knowledge about them, where to place things so people don't shoot you. That it can get to be a problem.
Let's get to one that I think is very new player friendly. Night Haunt.
Night Hunt simple.
The
You got one.
the only issue is they're not super competitive right now, but I feel like it's coming back a little bit. So
I wouldn't put him at an S. I'd put him at an A just because there is a lot of models and a lot of synergies. And the problem is they're not competitive.
that's the only problem they have, though. Everything else, the rules are really good. You get sixes to hit, they auto wounds. That's one less thing to think about.
Yep.
They're ethereal, like you don't have to worry about saves. It's just always 4 up. Like I feel like they're painting easy.
Oh, super easy. Probably, I think that army might be like the easiest to paint.
That's
in
why
the
I'm saying I
entire
think
game.
they might be closer
All
to
right,
the S tier.
I'll give it to you.
The
I forgot about
only
the
thing,
staves and the painting.
Yeah, the only thing that they lack is they're not very competitive, and I don't know if they have a ton of War Scrolls, but I mean,
They have some trap war scrolls.
they do, they absolutely do. But
Like that.
so does a lot of these though.
I will never forgive Games Workshop for those 4 model ghosts that do
God,
absolutely
the
nothing.
Glaive Race Stalkers,
I
garbage.
think so.
Literal
The-
garbage. All right, let's go to this army. This is going to be interesting. Bone Splitters. Where do we put Bone Splitters?
I want to put them at a B. They're very simple.
Very simple. They are very
They're
simple. They're not competitive at all.
if you're going to be they're very easy to paint. You're going to be painting flesh, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Flesh and loincloths.
Yep.
There's a lot of models though, so that's why I'm not putting them at A or anything. They're not that
Yeah, there's a
competitive.
lot of when we say a lot of models, there's gonna be a lot of models on the board. Yeah, there's not a lot of War Scrolls though. There's a
It's
couple.
It's simple.
Yeah.
You're going to do some prophets. You're going to do some naked boys with bows, some naked boys with spears, and that's about it.
Would you put them? Are they more new player friendly than IDK?
Yeah, they're so simple.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I
Their
would
their
agree.
biggest mistake is that they're not competitive
Yeah.
at all.
Yep. 100%. Okay.
And like you can make the rules. They have a ward. You don't have a ward.
Yeah.
I have a save. Everything's a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. That doesn't mean it's good, but it's simple.
Yeah.
Let's go with this. I think I know. We're probably going to be in the same agreement here. Lumineth. I think these guys.
I'll give them a D. I don't think they're F material.
C. You mean C.
I'll give them a D. Yes, that's what I meant.
C. I agree with you. I think they're kind of a pain to paint. they're kind of expensive, to be honest. Um, they have a ton of rules.
Yeah, and it's like they have a ton of rules. They can be competitive, but right now they're suffering just because of the season.
Yeah,
And like they are good, but they're not amazing at
I just don't
all.
think they're a good new player friendly army.
No. Unless you really really want to paint some miniatures. I think
I
that's
will
where it is.
say they're probably better than Gits though.
Oh yeah, at least the Lumineth rules are all like organized.
Yeah, it's true.
Are you fighting? Are you doing these guys? All right, you ignore a save. Are you doing these guys? All right, everything's a 6 to Morrowind.
Okay, here's a good one. Beasts of Chaos.
Beasts of Chaos.
Now, my take on this,
All right,
I think this army is very hard to play from a competitive standpoint. I
agreed.
think you really need to understand how your units work, but I
I
do
think
think I,
it's a simple army.
yeah, I do think it's a simple army to play. I don't like their allegiance ability is pretty standard. Like you get rend every round. Like I feel like you can deploy off the board. Like I feel like
You can do it is a lot of models,
it is a lot of
but then you
models.
can also go with just a bunch of monsters if you
They're
really
also
want.
not that hard to paint.
Yeah,
They're just beasts. They're
I'd
just
go high B, low A.
Are they better than Bone Splitters? I would say yes.
Yeah, yes, they
So
are.
I'm gonna put them in A. I think now
I think
from
they're a low A.
they're low A. They're definitely at the bottom of A for sure.
Because they can be competitive, but the
But
average person is not going to be
correct.
competitive.
I've been playing this game for 2 years and I still can't play Beast of Chaos right. I still can't do it. I just don't. I just don't play that army well. I don't know it. I don't know
It's because
the
you're
right
not
way to
using
do it.
those. You're not using those shooters, man. I'm
No, it's
telling you.
not the shooters. Everyone, it's all Bulgor spam now.
I know it is all Bulgor spam, which isn't a lot of models.
It's not a lot of models. It's not. All right, let's do. We were talking about this earlier. Sons of Behemoth.
All right, I'm going to put them at an A, and I'm going to put their Army of Renown as an S because it
It's
is not a
so
lot of
easy.
models.
It's pretty easy. You don't have to worry
My
about
only
the tribes.
yeah,
Um,
like my only problem with the normal one is that there's a lot of mini rolls with
yeah, the
them.
tribes.
There's tribes, all of their monstrous actions, which is what I see people forgetting all the time.
Now, granted, you only have 4 models.
Yeah, so
Relative.
it's easy to
Most of the time, you're gonna have 4 models. Um,
it's easy to learn, but there's just a lot with those 4 models.
sure. I'll give it to you. And I do agree. I think the Army of Renown is S tier. I think
It's
it's
so
so
easy.
easy. I think there's some gamey stuff in there, like the smashing the terrain and teleporting thing is kind of crazy, but that might be the
Yeah,
extent of the rules.
like all of your rules are on one page, and it's like, all right, what extra rules do you have? You can charge better, and you can
Sure.
throw a building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you don't even need to worry about buildings anymore.
Yeah.
You get rid of them.
Yep. Okay, let's do. This will be interesting since you play this quite a bit. Big Wah.
Uh,
Let's see. They've kind of got a. Their rules aren't great, so I think their rule set's like a B, like their allegiance abilities.
yeah, let's just be. I think they're a mid C.
Mid C, and they're very techy. You
They're
have to
they're
definitely know how to use
in order
them.
to be good, you have to be very techy with them.
They're kind of a pain to paint.
Yes, they are. I've come to learn.
So yeah, so let's put them. Are
I
they
don't think they're a D. Is the
you think
thing.
like low B?
Low B, low B.
Do you think they're worse than Lumineth?
No,
Okay, all right, then we'll go low B. I think they're very very close.
because with Big Wah, if you're not being competitive, you just get a whole bunch of. You just look at the models that you like in Orc, and you go, I want to use that.
Fair. That's fair. Okay, yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Competitive, it like you're getting a lot more into it. But new players, I like
Sure.
these models. I can use them.
Okay. OBR.
Oh, that's probably an F or a C.
That's
Like,
that's oh god, I don't want to say F because I love the models. But
Well,
God, could you imagine? Could you
as a
imagine
new- as a new player?
Yeah, like I couldn't imagine anyone trying to get into OBR as a new player and like cool. Their models look cool, but you would have a nightmare playing them. It'd be
Like
awful.
how good the army actually is, way up there.
Oh yeah,
On the
one
opposite
of the best
side.
armies in the game.
New player, oh gosh, you're gonna. I remember seeing some
I
of my
mean,
friends
their
like trying to
command,
find tokens to be able to get all the commands and
their
abilities that
command,
just so they can
they have
remember.
way too many command abilities. I don't like getting command points is confusing.
Yeah,
Like they've got so many War Scroll abilities on them. They're all command abilities. Like they've got a lot of magic. They've got a lot of. They're very techy. Like might be one of the worst ones in the game as far as a new player.
you look at all their war scrolls and you're like, okay, there's a medium amount of them, and then you look at all their abilities, like, all right,
Ugh, it
every
doesn't
single
matter.
war scroll has like 14 different things you can do with it.
Now that being said, they are. I was gonna say they're my favorite Death Army, but I don't know. I'm loving FEC right now.
Yeah, Legend of Quartz is amazing.
So let's go to FEC. Where's FEC? Right here.
All right, so we're gonna
Okay,
go
so
with
we're gonna go.
collect.
We're gonna go with current battle tone because we
Yeah,
don't know what the new one's like yet.
I had to give them like probably a high A,
No
low.
way. No
They're so
way.
they're
Tons
so
of
easy to
models.
collect. They're
They've
so
got
easy to
tons.
collect.
They're okay, so they're easy to collect, but there's so many models. They've got kind of a lot of rules.
You
Lots
know
of
what
summoning. Like
you know what
the
you do?
budget
You just
for
go.
this.
You buy 4 start collectings, and then you have pretty much everything you need.
I definitely don't think they're A. I definitely don't think they're A. I think
I'll concede with a high B, but they're so easy to collect, and just, oh, do you not want to do a whole bunch of models? All right, just do a bunch of Cryptors. Do you not want to do a whole bunch of Cryptors? Just do Terragist.
I'll give you a high B, but that's where I'm going to concede. I think they do have quite a bit of rules. They also are not playing by a lot of the generic rules.
That is true. They don't play by generic
like
rules,
like they've got a bunch of re-rolls. Like the attack twice is
and
never
they're
a thing.
so easy to paint.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you a high B, but I think that's where they sit is high B.
Yeah, I'm going easy to collect, easy to
Sure.
paint, easy to build an army.
Easy to collect until the new book comes out, and then you're never gonna find it.
Oh, 100%.
Because everyone, like FEC is like the new hotness right now. Everyone is on the FEC train.
100%. I am too.
And I can't lie, I can't blame them. The new FEC models are absolutely amazing. I just want to run an entire thing of either ghouls or those knights. Those little.
Ooh,
I
I like the knights.
The little. What are those things? What are they writing? Like some.
They're like mini Terragist. That's all I
Yeah,
know.
like they're super cool looking. All right, let's go with Daughters of Cain.
Um,
I
think they're kind of high. Like,
I think they're A or B. The only thing that would be confusing, which isn't really that bad, is their table. Um, they're not
yeah,
super hard to paint. I mean, Marathi's cool.
like their tables 100 times easier to understand than IDK.
100%. They don't have a whole lot of models. Like they're pretty.
Yeah.
They're still somewhat competitive. I mean, they've got their downsides for sure, but
Like, I'd say low A.
I would
Like
say too. Do you think they're more competitive, or sorry, more new player friendly than Beasts of Chaos? I think so.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
yes,
so.
I would.
I'd put them right in between Suns and Beasts.
Yeah,
good.
they're just really easy to get into.
Yeah, I agree. Let's finish up the orcs and go with Iron Jaws.
And we still have Cruel Boys after that.
Oh, you're right.
Iron Jaws is so easy.
It is easy. It is really easy. I mean,
I'll put it right under Daughters of Cain.
I almost would put it.
I
Only
wouldn't go that far because you have to. Everything relies on synergy.
Right, but you have one game plan, one play style.
That is true.
Like
Everything relies on
Daughters Cain, you have magic. You got decent magic. You got decent shooting. You got decent melee.
Iron Jaws, I give it to you.
Straight. You have one.
I'm moving forward and I'm hitting.
Yes, that's it.
End.
Like literally orcs in a nutshell.
Did I kill? I go again.
Mm-hmm. In fact, I think I'm gonna put them in the top of A.
Yeah, they might be. Yeah, they're probably easier to maintain and all
Suns.
that than Suns.
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
agree. I mean, they're kind of scooting the line between S. Like and you know what? They're still somewhat competitive. You can still make a competitive army out of Iron Jaws.
Yeah, people are
So
struggling right now with them, but I
now
agree.
downside, why another reason I put him in A probably is painting would be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, it,
Painting a bunch of pigs or ard boys or mod crushers, not fun. All
I
right.
don't know. I disagree with the Maw Crusher. I think the Maw Crusher is like
Okay, you'd be
extremely easy and fun.
okay. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's not that bad to paint. You're not
Pigs,
wrong.
no, opposite.
Yeah, pigs are rough, and art boys. There's just so much armor and.
Mm.
All right, let's go with Cities of Sigmar. I think this is F.
Probably an F. Yeah, especially just because of orders.
Yeah, and you have 3 different kind of slight sub factions that you can kind of go together. Like they're just not good. I do think they are better than OBR.
Yeah, yeah, I'll agree with that. Just because of the simplicity of it. Just because it's you're either playing humans, elves, dwarves,
or a combination, which you would never want to do anyway.
Yeah, like it's
all right, I'll give it to you.
There's just so many things to do. It's really good competitively, but there's just so many rules to have to remember.
That's fair.
You have to bring an extra sheet of tokens just to play the army. You can't even like just say that it's there. You have to bring the tokens.
Yep.
There's a lot of war scrolls.
Yeah,
it can be rough.
I agree. Speaking of a lot of war scrolls, Slaves to Darkness.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Fire Slayers.
Oh, okay, get out of here! Like all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And they're all the same. All right, Slaves to Darkness. They have a lot of war scrolls.
They're so simple though.
They are simple.
You are playing a melee army that moves forward, is tanky, and it hits.
There's a couple things that I say. Okay, one, not particularly budget friendly.
Oh no, that's fair.
The other thing is, I would say in the previous Battle Tome, it was better. This Battle Tome, there's still, like, you have the Eye of the Gods table. You have
there is like a lot of like mini rolls.
Yeah, there's a lot of little tiny mini things that they have. They do have a ton of war scrolls.
All right, yeah, you got me there. Just because of choosing your god is like for every model.
Yep. I'd put them in. You have a lot of Kabbalists and stuff like that. I would put them in maybe low B.
Yeah.
I hate that too because it's like Slaves of Darkness is one of the most popular armies, but from a new player perspective, I think there's just a better.
I think they're better than IDK though.
Okay, fair. We'll put them right in front of IDK.
Because like their game plan is you have your people, you move forward.
You're not wrong. Their game plan is very, very.
It's almost Iron Jaws, except not as quick.
It's Iron Jaws, but more on the tanky side.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that hit. They are slower. Yeah, they're kind of Iron Jaws. I just don't think they're nearly as player friendly as Iron Jaws.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into Coalesced Seraphon. Sorry.
Are they separated?
Yes, they are separated, which is probably good because they do play very, very differently. I actually think Coalesced Seraphon is like A tier.
It really is. You get Sauruses, and you get monsters.
You get dinos all day long. The rules aren't that bad.
I'd put them at a low A though, because they do have a lot of abilities.
Sure. I mean, I don't think they're that bad. It's not that many abilities. Starborn's crazy, but
yeah, I'll say that they're better than Beastmen.
Okay, fair. I don't think they're better than Daughters, so I think that's where they sit.
Not at
all. Yeah. Okay, speaking of Starborn, this has got to be like C or F. Like,
I don't think it's F per se, but I think it's C.
It's got because their magic phase is just insane. They've got tons of rules, tons of summoning. You're gonna need a huge budget.
Tons of magic, tons of summoning.
The painting,
and then
although awesome, would be a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Like I have no interest in painting my Croak right now. Like zero interest. It's a
the only reason why I don't put it on F is because you're going to know exactly what magic you're going to cast every single turn.
I don't know. I guess maybe
I cast my damage spell.
I mean, sure. I guess I play them. It would take me an eternity, but I'm also slower. So Okay.
Because once you learn the magic phase of them,
Yeah,
then
but is
you've
it
learned the entire
from a
book.
new player perspective? Miserable.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Just not fun. All right, now let's finish up orcs. Let's do cruel boys.
Um,
A or B? I mean, the
I wouldn't put him in
rules.
A.
Yeah,
I'll
maybe
put
not.
him in
Yeah,
B.
I'd put them in B probably too. They're not very competitive.
They require a lot off
They're
of bouncing
very,
off each other,
very
and
techy.
they have a lot of random rules.
Yes, the sneaky rules too at the beginning.
I think
Yeah,
the sneaky rules is what like puts them
I'm
down.
putting them below Big Wah.
Yeah, Big Wall's a lot is simpler.
Which is sad, right? Because you would think it wouldn't be, but Cruel Boys just has some weird interactions and rules.
Hmm.
They definitely break the rules a lot of the time
They're
too. So
and they're very limited of what they do.
yeah, yeah, you're kind of a one-trick pony. You're if you roll sixes, play Cruel Boys.
Yeah, fair.
All right, let's go. You pick one. Pick one of these ones. Oh, you
I want
can't
to
see.
do. I want to do Fire Slayers.
All right, Fire Slayers it
They're
is.
super simple. I'm putting them not high
Uh,
because of one big thing,
okay.
and that is their ruins.
The
They have
the
they have.
runes, yeah.
You know how many times you go like I see this every single time you fight a Fire Slayers player, and they say I have this once per game ability, and then they say that every 10 minutes,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're like, all right, have you used it? No, I don't think I have.
You're not wrong. I like sure they don't have very many war scrolls, but my goodness, man, could you try? Okay, just think about this. You pick up your buddy wants to play Fire Slayers. I don't know why because they all look the same. They're just, like, literally all the same looking. But it's like I want to play Fire Slayers. So then you're like, okay, all right, I don't like it, but all right, sure. So then you go to his house, and you look through the book, and you're like, okay, this guy does this thing. This little dude does this thing. This little dude does this thing. Could you imagine trying to keep track of all that? It would be an absolute nightmare.
It's just keeping track of all of the things that they do. Yeah.
To this day, and I've played my buddy. We played our buddy Jed a billion times with Fire Slayers, and to this day, he could literally tell me anything he wants that this little doofus would do, and I'd be like, okay, sure, dude. Like,
I believe you.
Because I have no idea, because they have just too many rules. I'm gonna put this low
I'll put them,
C. This is worse than Starborn, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're not. They don't have a huge budget.
I'll put them at high C just because it's really simple to collect and start using them. Like
I'm putting them below Lumineth though. I think.
okay, that's fine. At least Lumineth's consistent.
Yeah. Fire Slayers. At least I can tell what different dudes are in Lumineth. Like Fire Slayers, I have no idea. I have no idea.
You look at them and you go, all right, those guys are going to do mortal wounds. Those guys are going to be tanky.
Yep.
That guy's a spellcaster. You look at them and it's like, it's not a monster.
All right, here is the next high A, if not S tier.
Okay.
Magakin. Super easy to paint, super easy to collect. The rules are super easy. The only thing that you have to worry about is the dial, but that's really the only thing.
Yeah, I think that's like legitimately the only thing they have to worry about.
Yeah, everything else super easy. Easy to paint.
Oh yeah, it's either a high A or.
I don't think they're better than Nighthaunt, but they've got to be like right below them.
Yeah, I agreed. The only thing putting them down is the dial.
They were my first getting into AOS. They were my first army, and I still like. They are easier to use now than they were in the previous battle tome.
You have to remember dial, and you have to remember mortal wound diseases.
Correct, and you just put a dice.
And you know, I'm going to put them down just because they also have summoning.
Okay, fair. Yeah. Okay.
Like fair. You do have a couple things that you need to remember to do every time.
They are like hovering on that line though, between S and A. Like they are super easy.
Yeah, they are very easy. You probably have either a 5-up save or 4-up, and you have a 5-up 4.
Thematic for new players. Like you look at the Nurgle list, and you're like, you know exactly what they're supposed to do. Let us do. Here we go. My pride and joy currently Zinch. This has got to be like C. It's got to be too many spells. Too many things going on, this would
Are
not be a
are they
good
better or worse than Starborn?
worse. I think they're worse.
Yeah, agreed.
I think they're
Worse.
worse. Just
Because
because
you have to worry
you
about
got
even your
fate dice.
non-heroes doing
You got
anything.
like everything Starborn has. Zinch has something of the similar, but worse.
And their non-heroes do it as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Agreed.
yeah. It's not great. It's not good. Yeah, Zinch is tough. Zinch is not, which is sad because they're such a cool army, but they are not new player friendly.
No, not at all.
Let's go with one that you know quite well. Ogres.
They're actually they're not S tier. That's for sure.
They're not S tier. They still have their two different sub factions.
Um, I need to put a high A, sorry, high B or low
Low A.
A,
Are they
just
bet?
because
Go ahead. Go
they're
ahead.
really easy to collect. They're really
Yeah.
easy to paint.
Yep.
Their rules, like
Monster
once you,
trucks. Monster trucks aren't easy to paint though.
they were actually kind of easy
Are
to
they?
paint.
I haven't painted
Yeah,
them, so I can't. I couldn't tell you.
it's
They
a
look
big
like a
furry.
pain.
It's a big furry mammoth,
Okay.
and everything else is bone.
Okay. Fair enough.
The only thing putting them down is that they do have like everything's consistent, but everything's like every phase. Like they do mortal wounds on this phase, they do mortal wounds on that phase, they do mortal wounds on this phase. I'll put them high B.
High B. Do you think they are better or worse than flesh eaters?
I'm gonna put them below bone splitters.
Okay. Fair. So better. I'd agree with you on that. I'd agree with you on that. I think they're better than slaves for sure.
Yeah, like they are simple where it counts, but they do have a lot of mini rolls everywhere.
Okay. That's fair. I would have expected that, and I'm not much of an ogre player, so like that's why I'm relying on you. But I would have expected them to be higher. But
It, there's a lot of stuff because like there's the gulping bites. They count as different models if they're in combat or out of combat. There's mortal wounds. There's the vultures. There's charging. There's
okay.
did I charge this phase?
That's fair. That's fair. And they can be, and even if you're not running monster trucks, they can be very techy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I'm down with that. Let us go with another one that you know quite well. Slanesh. Boy, this has got to be like a B or C,
Bottom of B or top of C.
right? Because they're. I mean, although the mechanic is not hard, depravity is.
I'll put them
weird.
at bottom of B.
Bottom of B. Yeah.
It's a simple mechanic at least.
It is a simple mechanic. You're not wrong.
They are a pain in the tuchus to paint.
Are they?
Bliss barb archers. That's all I'm saying.
All right, fair enough.
You're gonna want to play them.
Okay.
And holy cow, are they just a pain to paint.
Where would you put them in here? In B? Above or below Big Wow?
New player.
It's got to be above. I don't think they're. I think
yeah,
I think
above Big Wow.
I think it's still above Big Wow.
Yeah.
It actually might be like there. It might be just above slaves, just below ogres.
I'll agree with that. They are fairly competitive.
Yep.
I don't really know how well they are for collecting, even though I have a crap ton of them. You have mechanic wise, you have to worry about depravity and summoning.
Yeah, you do have summoning, so budget's going to be a problem.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is like there is a lot of maintenance with them. Like you have to keep track of how much depravity you have. You have to keep track of your dice, your depravity dice. You have to keep track of summoning.
The more I'm talking about this, the more I feel like they're like more top of B.
Yeah.
Because they like, yes, they've got crazy mechanics, but that's super simple. Like it's not hard. Like it's not. And yeah, you're keeping track of depravity, but you're only keeping track of 3 things.
Yeah, that is true.
Like 3 tables, right? Like
right.
like it's. I think
I'll put them above Flesh Eater Courts.
Okay, and you know it's crazy too because if it wasn't Magican, and it's funny because I still don't have a Slanesh army, but I really like Slanesh. I think
Slanesh is a fun army.
I think it's like just thematically. Now granted, I think the most thematic army though. Just in its lore, it's got to be Flesh Eater.
Oh yeah, Flesh Eater probably has the best lore
It's gotta be the best.
in the
It's gotta be the
game,
best.
just because it's so ridiculously amazing.
It is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But if there was one after that, Slanesh would be like right there. I love that. I love their army. All right, we talked about this one earlier. Stormcast. This one's going to be probably debatable by many. In my personal opinion, I don't think they're very new player friendly, which is sad because they're like the face of Age of Sigmar.
I think they kind of are, just
And
because they're
I knew,
easy to
yeah, yeah,
easy to collect,
they are
and
very
there's
easy.
not a lot of rules you have to remember.
It's all on their war scroll for the most part. You're not
It's
wrong. You're not wrong.
like everything's a 3/3, minus
Yeah,
one,
you're not
2
wrong.
damage.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There's not very many models because they're all on 40 mil bases.
Yeah.
You might be right. I just there's so many damn war
There's
scrolls
so
in the
many
book.
models out there. It's really easy to collect.
Yeah, I just don't like the internal balance. Like you go
Agreed,
over to
but
your,
that's something that you have to worry with in competitive,
I
though.
know.
Not
You
really
go
a
over
new
to your
friendly.
buddies and he's like, "Oh, okay, so I want to get this dude." I'm like, "Oh no, that guy's garbage." Okay, what about this guy? Guy's garbage. What about this guy? Oh no, they're trash too.
only if you're doing this.
And it's like,
Agreed.
oh, that makes me sad. And it's like, yeah, that's just how it is. Where would he? So I think you're thinking probably A. Are we thinking?
I'll put them high B. They're easier than Slanesh.
Are they?
No,
Are they easier than Beasts of Chaos? I would agree. I would have to
yeah,
say
they are easier than BCK.
Probably not Coalesced. I'd probably put them below that, but they're probably A tier. I didn't want to concede to that, but I guess the only thing that they have going against them is just too many damn war scrolls in that book.
Yeah, too many war scrolls, and they're like, I've played some pretty competitive Stormcast lists. They can get up there.
Yeah, yeah. They're struggling right now, but once the new edition comes out, they'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got 5 to go. Do you want
All
to
right.
pick one of these?
Let's do Sylvaneth.
All right, you know Sylvaneth.
All right, I want to hear your opinion on this. What do you think it is?
All right, so first off, budget not great because you got to collect stupid woods. So there's my first problem. I think woods are hard to transport. I think they're just a pain in the ass to be honest.
You're gonna want, especially as a new player, you're gonna want to summon a bunch.
The painting super easy, unless you're
amazingly
doing something
easy.
like a L'Oreal, which is crazy. But at least you have that, right? You have that option.
Yeah.
But yeah, super easy. I think the rules.
I think their rules are actually super simple and easy.
I don't. The only reason I say that is when you read it, you're like, okay, that's real easy. It makes sense. But when you actually put them on the table, they're a lot harder. There's been many times where I will go and like teleport to something or charge something, and be like, oh, I missed it. I was 9 inches. I wasn't 9 inches wholly within of an overgrown, so I can't strike and fade. There's been many times where like the rule itself is easy, but in context and putting it on the table, I think it's tough.
Agreed, but like that's like one of the only rules that they have. You only need to remember one thing.
I also think they're very techy. I think you have to know what to go in and strike and fade with.
Yeah. There's not a lot of war scrolls either, in my opinion.
No, there's not that many.
Are you going to play trees? All right, they're all trees.
But you got bugs. You got bugs.
You got bugs. There's 2 different bugs. They do
bugs and trees. I mean, that's what you're playing.
Yeah. You got those spirits. No one uses them, but they're spirits. I wouldn't put him at A, but I'd put him above Slanesh.
Really?
I just think it's easier
mechanic is easier than Sylvaneth.
You have to do summoning, depravity, and like when to get that stuff.
Okay, yeah, the summoning, yeah. I get
Sylvaneth,
that.
I can teleport. Yeah, I had to be within 9 inches.
But I
had to put down trees.
And then when you set up you pick your overgrown and set up terrain, you got to be very cognizant of how you do that. Like I said, when you read the book and you look at the rules, it's like, okay, it's not that bad. But in context, when you put all of that together, I think it's a lot harder for a new player to grasp. And in that case, I mean, it's definitely B. I don't put them in A.
Yeah. I think that they're easy.
Do you think they're?
You know, I'll concede with one thing. I'll put them lower than Slanesh, just because I don't think they're competitive, in my opinion.
Well, I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna start being competitive. I think with Belthanos, I think he's gonna put a lot into that army. I'm
Yes.
already seeing crazy lists with like Alariel, Belthanos, and like a bunch of tree lords. I'm like already seeing it, and it like that would be a miserable thing to play against. Oh my gosh!
What, super tankiness everywhere?
Can you imagine? Like it's all Sylvaneth that gets to run in charge with any wholly with any team, right?
Yep.
So you can get Alariel to run in charge.
Yeah.
Ah, run in charge and then teleport away. It's just great, just great.
Hmm.
All right, cool. Let's go with Blades of Corn.
I don't actually think that they're that easy.
They're very techy. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
You
they're
you would
very techy.
you would think just looking at them and like looking at their book like, oh, easy, very Iron Jaws like go in smash.
I see two types
But
of corn players, and those are those who know how to techie really well and are really good at it, and
and then
then
those that
people,
play like Iron Jaws and go in and smash
yeah, and they do not have a good
against.
time.
They do not. They're very swingy.
I'll
Very
remind
swingy.
Joel of some of his favorite matches during the Smite GT. Like a new player playing corn doesn't do well.
Yeah, they're very swingy. Or blood type points, there's a lot to choose from. Um, they don't have very good like battle tactics. Like, I mean, they're okay, I guess. It's all about killing stuff, which is fine, but lots of prayers. I would have to agree. I don't think they're particularly all that new player friendly. I would probably put them low B, high C.
I'll put them high C. I can't put them on the B.
Okay,
Like,
all right. Are they better than Lumineth?
Lumineth is simple.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're better than Fire Slayers. I'll
yeah.
say that. I'll say that. All right, we got three left.
All right. What's next?
Skaven. There's so many War Scrolls, but they're easy to paint. I was gonna say they're easy to pick up, but not necessarily. They've got a lot of old models.
Yeah, there's a lot of old models up in
Um,
there.
they do not have good sub factions because they're all over the place depending on what heroes you take. This has got to be like C or like low C.
Uh, yeah. Are they easier than
They're not very
Starborn?
competitive. Like they're
Are they
very
easier than
cool.
Starborn?
Like playing rats is really fun. Yeah, would you like if you between Gloomspite Gets and Magic Starborn Seraphon, where would you place them?
Um, I'll put them right there.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah. They just have a lot of things that kind of don't synergy well, and so you have to go very hard
Yeah,
on one thing, but it wants you to do everything.
yeah, and there's a lot to paint, lots of models. Um, yeah, there's it's a don't get me wrong, Skaven's an awesome army. I just don't think they're very new player friendly.
No, there's just way too much to be able to get
Mm-hmm.
into it.
All right, let's go with KO. This has got to be C. I mean, they've got their fly high mechanics, their command abilities.
I the
Maybe
thing is
high
I
C.
think it's really simple. What is the new player going to do? They're
Okay.
going to get a big boat.
How
They're going
about
to put someone in the
How
boat.
about shooting with 8 different profiles for a Thunderers group?
I didn't. I'm not thinking how fun it is to play it.
like a new player trying to figure out. Okay, well I've got 2 of these dudes.
All
I
right,
think
so
these 3 guys.
this is how I see it. I think it's a really easy army to use and play. I think it's a miserable army for a new person to actually play it.
Yeah,
Like the experience of playing it might not be that fun.
fair.
I think everything else is good. It's the experience of
I
playing
just
it.
think they have a lot of War Scroll abilities, a lot of command abilities, a lot of uh, what do you call them? The articles and all of that stuff. Like I just think
Yeah,
there's a
they do have
lot. There's a
they
lot
have a
there.
lot of small things.
Yes, they have a
I'll put
lot of
them
small
under
things.
Lumineth.
Okay, I definitely don't think they're B tier. If anything, C tier, and I'd put them I'll submit to that, but I even put them like maybe here.
Yeah, just because I think that their play style is simple. They have another problem of once per game abilities.
Yep, lots of once per game abilities. Um,
It's just I'm going to be in a boat. If I'm a new player, I might get two boats, and I'm going to move over there and I'm
oh,
going
they're
to shoot.
also a nightmare to paint. They are a
Oh,
nightmare to paint.
100%.
They are an
Uh,
absolute nightmare to paint.
little doodads galore.
And then you get a big boat, like it looks cool, but it'll take you forever to paint that thing.
Yes, yes, it will.
All right, we get to the last, the best for last, Cameron.
So
Soul
glad.
Light.
They're kind of the best of both worlds.
They've
Like
got. They're
they're
not too hard to paint. You do
they're
have to have a budget for them.
yes.
Summoning,
I
lots.
think that's their biggest thing. Like their war scrolls, most of them are really simple.
The rules aren't too bad. They're not
Like
entirely crazy. Like you don't have to remember too much.
they're so simple.
Graveyards are relatively easy. I think they just struggle from having a lot of war scrolls. So you have to kind of figure out how to play with that. But from a
I
new
I,
player perspective and
I
the
think they might be
thematic,
an A.
they might be A. You're not wrong.
It's so easy to get into them.
I would put them.
What's your favorite undead things? Skeletons, dogs, or
And like a new. So when I played fantasy back in the day, when I very first got into tabletop, I picked up Soul Blight, and I was all about vampires, blood knights. That was my thing.
mm-hmm.
And I just think from a new player perspective, it's so easy to get into Soul Blight because they're so thematic, right? Undead.
Yeah. I'm going to have undead. That's going to be my
Where
shtick.
would you put them? Below
Um,
sons, above daughters,
yeah.
higher?
I wouldn't put him above Suns.
Okay, all right. So we'll put them there.
So like Suns is really easy.
Yeah, I agree. So in consensus, in conclusion, Night Haunt is the best new player faction army, and I have to agree. I think it is. I think it's just
It's really simple.
really simple,
The
really easy
the
to
most
paint.
complicated thing that you have is that you need to remember what your charges are,
Yeah, yep, yep. But
and that's about it.
that's it though. I mean, everything else is super easy.
You have like what, one non-named spellcaster?
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that too much. And they're very thematic as well.
Yeah.
Ghosty boys.
Ghosty boys for the win.
All right, so that is that. Let me get back to tier list. Uh, oh, you're not going to be able to see this camera, but that's fine. You don't need to.
Nope, I'm blind to it.
This is just a conclusion. So, what is coming up next week? So, I think it just depends on what we get this next weekend. I don't. Do we know when the FEC box is going to come out? It's not on pre-order,
I'm gonna.
right?
No, it's not. I'm gonna guess Christmas.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's gonna be close to Christmas. So maybe we'll do, instead of a new player tier list, we'll do another tier list of some sort. But not new player. Maybe we'll do like, what have we not done? Would be interesting. Oh no, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what we want to do.
We got a week to figure it out.
Right, and then obviously, if you haven't already, be on the lookout for the December Christmas House of Hobbies tournament. Should be fun. And then other than that, that's about all I got. So, Cameron, anything else?
No, I'm going to be painting a lot of Cities of Sigmar. That's pretty much my job
Are
for like the
you
next month.
you think you're sticking with cities for LVL?
Yeah, if I keep change, unless there is a like a battle scroll change.
That's
The
like
big
pretty
one.
significant. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If I keep changing, my wife's gonna kill me.
Yeah, I know. That's where I'm at right now. It's like I really want to play FEC Ghouls, but I don't know when the stupid book is going to be legal for LVO.
Yeah.
So
Worst
it's like,
comes to
I
worst, I
can't.
play Big Wa.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think I'm going to keep my Zinch list for now. I really like it. I think it's a cool list. It's very non-meta list, and I dig that. So
I think it's very good.
I
It doesn't do well into shooting, but that's about
no,
it.
it does not do well in the shooting. That is for sure. At least cities. All right. On that note, we'll end there. Have a good rest of the week, and we will see you guys next week.
See ya.